Hello, how you doing? My name is Demetrius, aka used to be called Cake Mix. My testimony is, I would say, is kind of heavy. I was out there, you know, running wild. I was heavily sedated with drugs. I used to rap. I used to do all that stuff. But the hardest thing that caught me up, that I was caught up into, was drugs. I started off, like everybody else, smoking a little weed here and there, and graduated. Ended up on crystal meth. I would say 5, 6 years, but when you're on meth, time flies. It could have been 10, it could have been 11. But not to glorify the enemy, because everything we do, I believe, is done and in a way that it teaches us we're supposed to get something out of it. So I was bound for years by narcotics, and one day, I'll never forget it. There was a brother. There's a brother by the name of Dwayne Stewart. He's no longer with us. He's since passed on and went to heaven. Hopefully he did. But the Lord used him to bring me to him. I was, again, running wild, and he used to try to minister to me. I used to hear him, but I didn't. Hear him, but I didn't, until one day I was at wit's end. And the Lord placed him in my path, and he spoke a word that I really needed to hear at that point in time. And he also used him to direct me to the men's home, to the Feed My Sheep men's home, where I went and I stayed for 5 months. And in that 5 months, I've always, like I said, I've always knew about the Lord. He's always, even though in my sin, he'd always be on my mind. I'd find myself getting high talking about God. The people got mad I was around, because I get high and I start talking about God. But I say that to say, he saved me. I went to this men's home. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was a home where there was 17 men there. And it's only like a 4-bedroom house, We was in there. It was called the Humble House. And at that point is where he humbled me. And, I started to get into his word. I started to wake up in the mornings. We had to do our daily bread. We had to, study scriptures, and as I did that, and I got closer to him and built a relationship with him, he took the taste out of my mouth, And I thank the Lord for saving me, because so many people I see today that I used to run the streets, that I used to get high with, I mean, literally, they're out of their minds. So I know the Lord had a calling on my life, because as I was getting high, he was keeping me. He was keeping me while I was getting high. I know it sounds, but he was keeping me, because the same people that I used to get high with are, now I see them, and they're talking to themselves. They're homeless. They're and every time I see them, I have to give the Lord thanks, for keeping me, because I was doing the same thing they're doing. I was probably doing even more, And like I said, I've been saved and clean since 2010. It's 2018, and I know I couldn't have did it without the Lord, without Jesus Christ. I couldn't have done it. I wouldn't have made it this far. And like I said, I went in to feed my sheep. And it was vital, and I know the Lord used them to help clean me out, to help bring me back to my old person. And then I was there for about 2 years, 2.5 years. I ended up leaving to feed my sheep, and that's when I found Deliverance House of Prayer. And when I came here, I was greeted with love, and it was, the word was powerful. When I came to Deliverance House of Prayer, I was still smoking cigarettes. I was still on Newports, and that's how I know I was supposed to be here, because when I came here, the presence of the Lord that was here in this house convicted me of smoking my cigarettes. I had to stop smoking cigarettes, and that's why I knew that I was on the right path. I had to settle here where I'm at now, and I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world, And I just want to say, if you're out there and if you're bound, if you're going through and you're at wit's end and you don't know what's next, your next move might be your worst move. Stop and give your life to the Lord. And I guarantee you'll never regret it. It's not easy. It's not easy. But neither is getting high every day, running the streets. That ain't easy either. You know what I mean? I would say give it to the Lord. And I have no regrets since I've been on this side. I wouldn't go back for nothing in the world. I'm riding with the Lord from here on out, no matter where it takes me. I ask Him for strength daily. I'm not perfect. I fall daily. But I ask for strength daily to maintain, because, like I say, I'm not perfect. Being saved don't make you perfect. You become perfect through Him. As far as you long to be. You want to make the Lord happy. It hurts you to hurt Him now. So just to wrap it up, I would say, if you're tired and you don't know what else to do, that's the best time to surrender and throw your hands up and give your life to the Lord. Thank you for listening. My name is Darnell Taylor.